Yeah. I feel like I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Do you think like the average parent at work feels unsupported?
Yes, absolutely. Unequivocally, yes. I have talked to many parents who have been in companies where I've basically made parent support my like pet project amongst any other thing I'm doing with HR. I really have a focus on support for parents. And I've had parents consistently, like on a weekly basis, reach out to me to tell me how different it is from other environments they've been in, or specific things that they appreciate about the way that we've structured work and the way that we speak about parents at work. But I also learned this like through our research at Tend Lab, through work that we did to study the impact of caregiving in the workplace, that it's just sort of accepted that parents don't get support from their workplaces. And that's just okay somehow.
But you just said like most people don't actually live near family that could support them.
Right.
And their company's not supporting them. So who's supporting our parent? Like who's supporting the parents in the workplace? A lot of families right now do not live near their parents to help them take care of their children. And there's no support coming from work. So where are parents getting any support from?
From each other. From other parents.
Oh, man.
I know.
But all of you have other responsibilities.
It's true. I have this incredible parents group that I was a part of founding 7 years ago when I was pregnant with my first. And that group of, let's say it's like women and non-binary parents. There's like 30 or 40 of us that have consistently been a part of this group. And that is my lifeline. That has been my primary source of parental support for the last 7 years. Because it's a scary world out there in the parenting communities. Like if you look on like Facebook communities or baby center communities or like online communities for parents, can get very toxic and very scary and very unhelpful, like really fast. And so having a safe place to find your parent community is really important. And whether that's an in-person community or an online community, that's how parents are getting support, is from each other, from other parents. And this is why like parenting ERGs are super important at work. Having an ERG, whether it's for caregiving people of all types, whether it's specifically for parents, specifically for moms, how you structure that ERG will depend on what your employee population looks like and what your capacity the company has. But if a company can provide some form of that safe place for parents to talk to each other, it's not even necessarily about getting through parenting at work or how to negotiate policies or how to like navigate the world that you're in. So much of it is just like having a place to connect to other parents who are in the trenches with you. And I see that at Oyster in our Slack channel. We have one that's for parents and one that's for pregnant people. And both places, people have said like, it's just so nice to have a place where I can connect with other parents. And I know not everyone has a Slack community that full of trusted, loving, supportive people that they can go to, right? That's like, you might as well try to foster that at work. Try to foster that amongst the caregivers in your company. Give them space. If nothing else, like if you can't give like, expensive benefits or provide access to perks and apps and all these kinds of things, like the least you can do is make space.
Yeah. People always ask me like, why do I care so much about this? Like I get asked a lot, like you're not a mom. Like, why do you care? And I'm like, how can I do my job as an HR professional and not care about the employees in the workplace and what they're facing?
Yeah.
And parents, I just think it seems so hard. And in our structure, like when we were growing up, I only had my dad worked, right? But now I think it's more common because of how expensive it is to live in this world, that now both parents are working now. And so when you have that structure in place, that's two people at two different companies potentially not getting support from their company on the caregiving that they need to do, that usually someone's career has to take a back seat because they're making the sacrifices to be the parent. So the other can also excel in their job.
Yeah. And there's you hear, or I don't know if you hear, I hear commentary from companies, from people saying, well, but your kids are in school. So when your kids are in school, you can work. And it's not that simple. Because first of all, school is, in most cases, is from like 8 to 2, let's say, maybe 2:30. And then you have to pay for aftercare because the workday doesn't end at the same time the school day ends. So you have to figure out how you're going to get your kid from school and get them to some sort of after school activity that will provide you with childcare until you can finish your workday. We are very lucky that we have an aftercare program at our school that's affordable, that like we don't have to go pick her up. She's already on campus there, which is fantastic. But a lot of people don't have that option. A lot of people, like, the school day ends at 2:30, and then they just have to figure out what to do with their kids until they're off their shift or until they are able to leave the office. When I was working in an office in San Francisco, I had to commute an hour each way. And luckily, my husband worked close to where the kids were in school. So he was in charge of pickup because he could actually get there by 5 when the daycare ended or the childcare ended. Like, it wouldn't have been possible for me. I wasn't getting home till 6:30. And then someone's got to make dinner and someone's got to get the kids bathed if it's one of the days of the week that you bathe your children. Someone has to, like, there's so much. I was talking to someone the other day about the before and after, and there's a great book podcast called The Second Shift, Double Shift, Second Shift. I need to look this up and make sure I'm saying it right. I think it's The Second Shift. Anyway, it's this concept that you start your day way before your workday starts, and you end your day way after your workday ends. So, like, by the time parents show up in the office at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., they've already lived like a 3-hour workday, because your kids get up somewhere between 5:30 and 6:30 or 7, depending on your particular child. And then you have to go through the morning routine of getting them up, getting them out of bed, getting their teeth brushed, getting them dressed, getting them fed, making sure their backpack is ready, telling them 700 times to put their shoes on, helping them get their shoes on because they can't actually do it themselves, and getting them out the door and to school. And that's assuming like every one of those steps is going right, and that there's no tantrums, and that there's no, owies that need tending, or hair that needs extra attention that day, or fights over the outfit, or like, there's so many different ways that can get thrown off track. And that's just everything you do before you sit down to work. And then you go through your whole workday hoping that you don't get a call from school to say your kid has a runny nose, you need to come pick them up, or your kid has a fever, you need to pick them up, or God forbid, there's like an emergency at the school, right? And then you finally pick your kid up, and then you go through the nighttime routine. Okay, as soon as they walk in the door, it's check for homework, check your backpack, please put your shoes here and not on the floor where everyone's going to trip over them. And oh, look, the floor is covered in toys because we never got to clean those up. And let's get you fed and bathed and to bed. And then you deal with the bedtime routine. And it's like, finally, at least in our house with a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old, finally we get both kids like in bed and hopefully asleep. It's like 8:30 or 9 at night. And then like, maybe I still have an hour or two of work I want to catch up on because I didn't get to do it during the day. Or maybe I just need to like turn into a zombie on the couch and watch terrible reality shows. And then I try to get myself into bed at a reasonable time, because guess what? The kids wake up overnight still. Like, you don't sleep through the night. Like, I can't remember the last time I slept all the way through the night. And then you wake up the next morning and you do it all again. And there's so much joy and love and fun in all of this. And like, it's such a stereotype of me. I wouldn't change it for the world, except for like, maybe they could sleep better.